running late. I'm sorry. I had to pee. Are we rolling? To today's episode of Funny You Would Ask, the series in which I answer your frequently asked questions about houseplants. I'm your host, Betsy Begonia, and this is my co-host, Frank the Fox. I guess he's a little quiet today. I get a lot of questions in my YouTube comments and my Instagram DMs. They are often about the same plants and they're often the same questions. I have trouble keeping up with them, so I created this series so that I could answer 3 of your questions at one time in one fell swoop, because that's how I roll, that's how I work, that's how we're doing it. Let's go. Frequently asked question number 1, the leaves of my plant look dry and shriveled, but I'm watering it. Why? What's going on? First of all, you could be underwatering it. You don't know. With Hoyas, for example, if you're keeping them in a really light mixture that's mostly orchid bark or something, it's probably not retaining water for a very long time. So if it's Hoya lacunosa, for example, which is a plant that requires a bit more moisture than some other Hoyas, perhaps it is underwatered. Perhaps it really does need more water and it's just really thirsty. You gotta check it out. You gotta check the soil, put your finger in it, or if it's orchid bark, just make sure that just don't screw that up. The other thing is that it could be root rot from previously overwatering. And sometimes that can happen at the greenhouse. You bring a plant home and you don't realize that the greenhouse has been overwatering it and it just recently started suffering from root rot, but it's not showing the signs of distress yet. And then you take it home and like a week later, you're like, why is my plant shriveling up and dying? I don't understand. I'm taking really good care of it. So what happens is the plant gets overwatered for a little while, the roots begin to rot away, and then they are incapable of sucking up water or nutrients from the soil and bringing it up to the plant. So the plant begins showing signs of distress. It starts looking shriveled and dry because it's not getting any water from those damaged roots. So in that case, what you should do is take the plant out of the pot, inspect the roots, see if there are signs of root rot. If there are salvageable roots, if it still has a pretty strong root system, but some of the roots are rotted away, just cut away the rotten roots and then repot it and then continue with your life. But if most of the roots are rotting away, then you're gonna have to take cuttings from the plant, root them, and start over. It's just the way it's gotta wait. It could be a little confusing because, when you see leaves shriveling up and looking dry, you really think that it needs more water. Then you just keep watering it, and it's like, stop, my roots are rotten already. And so you're just making the problem worse, thinking that the plant needs more water, when in reality it just, it needs some care, it needs some tender, loving care. Number 2, the leaves of my Croton are falling off. I don't understand why. How do I stop it? How do I stop my Croton from dropping leaves? Let me get my Croton. I have to be careful because every time I do that, this stool almost falls over, but it's so fun. It's like sliding across the roof of sliding across the front of a car. What's that called? The hood. Sliding across the hood of a car. Does my dress look good? Do I look good? Okay. This is my Croton. This is I don't know, I'm talking like that. I'm really glad that you're here to kind of balance my chaotic energy. You know what I mean? It's really nice to have you here. I think you make a really good co-host. I want to compliment you on that. Thank you. This is my Croton, Mrs. Easton. This is the only type of Croton I have ever been able to keep alive. Crotons need a lot of light. They prefer really bright, indirect light, maybe a little bit of sunshine too. That'd be okay. In my Croton care video, I say Croton in that video too, because it's just funner to say, but I guess it's Croton. Some people corrected me, it's Croton. In that video, I said that you should not put your Croton in direct sun for hours and hours, or the leaves could become faded, they look a little bleached out, it loses its glorious color. Now, I have put mine in direct sun to show you an example of that, because some people wanted to argue with me, and I was like, nah, Now, I did go to the Canary Islands this past winter, and I noticed that Croton is planted all over the island of La Gomera. And it does have color. It is doing well in the sun because it has adapted to the sun. Mine is probably so bleached out because I put it in direct sun immediately. But this is what's gonna happen if you do that. Like if you bring it home from the greenhouse where it's getting a bunch of bright indirect light and you just pop it into the sun, it's gonna become bleached out. Like these leaves used to be beautiful and red and vibrant. And now they're just kind of bleached out. I mean, I don't mind because this isn't my precious baby, you know, like this is just a plant that I have. It's not one of my favorite plants. I think it's a cool plant, but it's not, you know, I was willing to sacrifice it to show you what happens if you put it in direct sun. It gets a little bleached out, gets really dull, loses its coloration. Where was I? What was I talking about? What was the question? Oh, dropping leaves. Mine dropped leaves this winter because of the low light levels, and I overwatered it, because in the winter it really needs a lot less water, and I just screwed it up, you know? Gave it a little too much water, got a little overzealous with the watering key, okay? So I understand your woes. I understand what it's like to have a Croton and be like, I really like you, and then it starts dropping leaves because it's like, I don't like you so much. Bright light, really bright, preferably indirect light if you want your plant to keep its vibrant color and if you want it to stop dropping leaves. Also, you're probably overwatering it. It's really sensitive to overwatering, so you really have to be careful. You can let the soil dry out between waterings. It will droop. It absolutely will begin to droop. Its leaves look a little sad when it's needing water. You can let that happen. The plant will tell you, it will speak to you. Be a plant whisperer or listener. Listen to the plant when it whispers to you, is what I'm saying. Did I ramble too much? Am I rambling too much? Did I have too much caffeine again? I'm sorry. To sum up, if you want your Croton to stop dropping leaves, give it a bunch of light, not too much direct sun or it will become bleached and faded. 2, you're overwatering it, quit it. I'm gonna put you down, all right. Question number 3, this has nothing in it. Did the beneficial nematodes work on the fungus gnats? Yes. Yes, they did. Within like 3 days. Gone, no more fungus gnats. It was amazing, fantastic. It was glorious! It did happen again like 6 months down the line because I bought a bag of infected potting mix that I didn't know was infected with fungus gnat larvae, and I got another fungus gnat infestation when I repotted some plants. I bought beneficial nematodes again, and within 3 days, gone. Done. No more fungus gnats. See you later, bye-bye. So yes, beneficial nematodes work. So that's 3 questions, 3 frequently asked questions from you. Frank, do you have any more questions? Frank's got no more questions. All right, if you do have a question that's gone unanswered, or if this has brought up any questions in your little head and you want to get it out there, leave it in the comments below and I will add it to a future episode of Funny You Would Ask. I want to thank you for watching, spending a little time with me. I really appreciate it. If you want to support this channel and support me, you can. I have a Patreon. The link is down below in my description. Of course, there's no obligation, but any little bit counts. I always use it towards improving my channel in any way that I can, bringing you more entertaining, more fun, more interesting, more visibly good content. And I'm also just trying to make a living, you know? It would be really cool if I could do this full time. I would love that. You and me? Team? Okay. I want to thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I really hope you had a good time. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to my $10 patrons Carolyn Green, Charlotte Dawson, Chris Schlitzkis, Emily and Jay Kennedy, my $6 patron Patty Nash, my $5 patrons Miranda Moyer, Laura Wright, Fender Lamb, Haley, Tanya DeVacan, Awkwardly, Abby, Shannon Spaniel, Romina Reyes, Chai Guy, Giselle Dow, Adam Banzoff, Elizabeth Murray, Krista, Laughlin, Aaron, Meow, and Kayla Mann. My $2 patrons Karen, Georgia Thomas, Abigail Colin, Renee Allen, Martha Childress, Adam B, Hannah Gukula, Steve A, and Pamela. My $1 patrons Michelle A, Lita Anastasia, Cassandra Lewis, Michelle Mikens, Jenny Setman, Jessie, Sophia, JJ Garabay, Isabel Langlois, Elizabeth Balaskas, Kara Freeman, Wan Yang Zheng, Elizabeth Merrick, Josie, Sophia Clark, Michael Miner, Hala Fiasco, Jordan Jackson, Kayla Davenport, Lisa Nicholas, Curtis, Lexi Haynes, Elizabeth Mantauda, Elisa Matieva. I always say your name wrong. Melissa Monstera, Ivy Dubois, Linda Thea, Kristen Bjordal, Megan McConville, Claire Buck, Meg, Aria Putanen, Claire Lynn, and Denise Grimm. Thank you!